Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's stream. It's our first day of the new schedule. I see that there's a couple people already. Hell yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're gonna go meet the Brotherhood of Steel today. That's what our goal is. Gotta go meet the guys. Gotta go meet the big armor men. Yeah. Alright. I got everything done this time. I didn't even have to like set anything weird up. Cause usually I'm not prepared, but now I am. I'm 100% prepared for today. So yay! Okay, so we have to go meet the Brotherhood.
Of the recently deceased Mr. House, President, CEO, and sole proprietor of the Vegas Strip are still available. Just ask any Securitron.
Thanks. Okay, so to go meet the Brotherhood, we have to talk to Yes Man, I think? Or did we already talk to Yes Man? We might have already talked to Yes Bro. He's dead though. He's like,
oh, hi again.
Hi Yes Man.
Can I help you with something else?
Yeah. Oh, I think we already talked to him about it. Okay. So that just means that we gotta go get that. We gotta go find it. It means it's in our quests, I think, yeah. Find Mr. House's bunker. NCR. I wanna go meet the Brotherhood. Okay. This is what we're doing. Wait, is there a... Hold on. Is there a specific quest that means Yes Man? That means like the Brotherhood. Okay, all I can see is side bets. So we just have to go find them. I mean, fuck it, right? Let's go, we'll just go search. We'll just go look around. Hi, Eddie. Wait, you're a robot. You don't need stim pack. You're fine. Eddie, come on. Eddie. Bro, come on. Eddie. Follow me. Come on. Yeah, we're gonna go find the Brotherhood, Eddie. Come on, puppy dog. Eat the puppies. We could also go kill everyone in the Gamora. But maybe that's air condi- Whoopsie. It's air conditioned. It says it's air conditioned. That's pretty cool. We did kill everyone at the tops already, I think. Wait, there's the Ultra Lux, isn't there? Isn't that another thing we're supposed to go do? Is go talk to the people at the Ultra Lux? Which ones are the cannibals? 'Cause I know that there's cannibals. That's all I know, is that there's cannibals. I know that there's cannibals. Okay. Also, I think what I'm gonna do, is off stream, I'm gonna go and clear out all the casinos for the caps. Just because it's not the greatest thing to watch. And you guys get the gist. So off stream, I will go and clear out everything. Who is shooting it? See, they stand no chance. They stand no chance. There's nothing they can. All they had was a pool cue. Pool cue. That's the word. I love words. Are there more thugs? Are there more mad people? Mad City. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. You okay, buddy? He hit you with a pipe. It was not the smartest idea, but definitely one of the ideas of all time. We have a lot of caps now. That's just kind of like our prerogative, is that we have caps. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to travel home, and I was watching the VOD. We forgot to put a bunch of the stuff away that I said I wanted to put away. So where's the map? There it is. Why am I so zoomed in? Oh, I see. Okay. Red Rock Canyon. Also, wasn't there... This is where the Boomers is? Oh, this is where I'm supposed to go. Okay, well, I want to go to Goodsprings because, we forgot to put a bunch of stuff away that I said I wanted to put away. Wait, what is this? Is it a workbench? Do we have anything that we can actually do? Yeah, no, I don't think we have anything we can actually make. Duct tape, scrap. Oh wait, you can make repair kits? When the fuck was I gonna learn that? I didn't know you could make repair kits. That's really cool. Okay, let's go to our house. Sweet home. Oh wow. Oh wow. We have so much stuff. Why do we have so much stuff? Too much stuff. Well, that's the 9-iron that killed Mr. House. Do we already have a 44 Magnum? Okay. I guess we don't. We'll keep one of the Magnums. Just cause, you know, revolver cool. Benny's suit. Oh, also, it should probably turn off the radio. That is causing a whole bunch of problems. Okay, so all of the songs in this like game on the radio, they don't get like flagged for like country removal. They like, of course they get copyrighted, right? But they don't get flagged for like country removal. The only one that causes content to be blocked in other countries sometimes is Big Iron, which is the best one. So like, fuck. Which means we probably should just listen to like the Nintendo music that I have on the side instead. So put that back on, but we'll just turn it down really quiet. Yeah, we'll just turn it down real quiet. I mean, then there's no point, is there? Hold on. Okay, there we go. That's an acceptable volume. There we go. That's a pretty acceptable volume, I think. Maybe a little bit less. Okay, I don't know how good this sounds, because I can't hear it. I can only hear how quiet it is for me, not for you guys. But I think it's okay. We should probably, like... Okay, no, so this is what I was thinking of. These. Apparently these are... Yeah, they permanently up our stats. I didn't know that. They like actually up our stats permanently. I didn't know that at all. Nothing tells you that. Yeah. Hi Abyss. Welcome to the stream. So did I miss any others? I'm doing alright. It's our first day of the new schedule. You should have seen it in the Discord. I have it set up to have the pings go off. What other stuff were we gonna get rid of? Cause okay, looky here. I want a shotgun. I just want to have a shotgun. Just cause you know they're kind of good to have. Is this caravan shotgun better? No, it's not. It uses completely different ammo type too. This is not good at all. It's not good at all. Hello. Hello, Dweller. The chopper. I have the chopper. That's our melee weapon. And these need to die. These need to go. Wait, is Maria does Maria do more damage than that gun does? No, it does not. It does not at all. Maria's better. Maria is better. For sure. Let's go sell these guns that we got from the shootout. He's asleep, ain't he? Wake your ass up, Chet.
Have you seen that tower?
Wake your ass
You looking to buy
up,
some supplies?
'cause it's time to go beast mode. Alright. We also have a bunch of stuff to sell, don't we? Cause like we did just like straight up murder a lot of people all at once. When am I ever gonna use Jet? Well, I guess we'll never find out. Think? We gotta just like get rid of. We have so much stuff that we're never gonna use. What is turbo? What is the turbo effect? What is the what? Okay, we don't need it. We don't need it at all, actually. We don't need wine, we don't need whiskey. Did I actually have anything that I needed to put? Oh, pre-war money. Yeah, I thought we had stuff that I meant to put away, but apparently not. Why does the sawed-off shotgun sell for so much? It's kind of funny. Okay. What does Chet even have? Does he have anything that's even, like, remotely okay for us? No, I think we outgrew our Chet. Our Chet. Well, I mean, he has stim packs. Stim packs are always good. He has these things sometimes, like the gun runner stuff. Like all the gun attachments. We already have this one, don't we? Yeah. He has ammo. Does he have the 5.57 or the 5.56? Does he have any 5.56? He does. He has 19 rounds. We'll buy all of it. I mean, honestly, we could just buy all of his rounds, but we don't need all of them. Okay.
Another satisfied customer.
All right,
Take
goodbye.
it easy now.
Bye-bye. Eddie! Alright. I love Good Springs. So, I think... Okay. Oh my god, what is it? Oh, you know what I want to go do? I want to go see if we can make it down that road. You know the road. You know the one. You know the one. I want to see if we can make it down this road here and see if we can kill those goddamn murder bug things. Cause this is what got me to stop playing on my first playthrough. I thought I was, cause I mean I was like 8. How old was I? It was when the Xbox 360 was still relatively new. But like, okay, it was it was kind of young. I didn't know what to do. I didn't really listen to anybody. I killed everyone, I think. But it's cause going down this way, you come into some bugs that like immediately kill you because they're very strong. But apparently if you just go down this way, you get to Vegas very quickly. I am using too many uhs. I'm saying a lot. There we go. Yeah, the Cazadors. Are they gonna kill? They're gonna kill me immediately. They're gonna kill me immediately again. Oh, wait, hold on. Nah, I'm him. Holy shit. Nah, we're him. We're him. We're him. We're actually him. Oh! Oh, hell yeah. We can deal with these things now. Oh, that better be worth something. The Cazador. Wait, what are these? This is probably like their nest or something. But apparently down this way, if I just follow this road, you get to Vegas, like, immediately. More Cazadors. I really like Eddie. Eddie's like, he very much help. Cause like, he just immediately alerts. Such a good, oh. Eddie? Eddie! Eddie, die. Oh no. So we're strong, but not strong enough apparently. Yes, come on. Yeah! Let's get Eddie up. Eddie! Oh no. Yeah, no, we're not surviving this. We're not surviving this encounter. Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, I bet you if Eddie didn't die, we could have made it. We could have made it. But it's okay. We don't need to, we don't need to, we don't need to go that way. It's okay. But what we do need to do is we do need to find... Okay. This is gonna be difficult, because... Wait, where are we going? Why is it taking us to the NCR Correctional Facility? Where does it want us to go, is the question. Wait, what is Sloan? Where is Sloan? Wasn't Sloan... No, that's Novak that I'm thinking about. Oh, the Brotherhood of Steel Bunker. Right here. Okay, if we go to Novak then. It says it's abandoned? That's strange. But... what are all of these things? Red Rock Canyon. Hidden Valley. What are all these quests? Visit. Oh. Make contact with the boomers. Okay, well, right now we're focused on a different thing. We're trying to go find the Brotherhood. And I think that they're in this bunker here. Okay. So they're down this road, I think. Alright, so we'll just follow this road. We'll just follow the broken brick road. Because this shit's, like, not okay. You want to drive in this? I don't think anyone would like to drive in this conditions. In this conditions. Yeah, I have words. Don't worry about it. Helios 1 is that way. Ooh. Wait, I like these guys now because we can actually afford some of their stuff. Hi.
Hey there. Need anything?
Yeah.
Sure. Here's what I've got.
12.7 millimeters SMG suppressor. That is a crazy, like, what's it called? Millimeter, what the... Caliber. It's a strange caliber you have there. Authentic blade for a katana. I don't even have one of those. I've never had one of those. Oh yeah, and of course, old cowboy hat. Cowboy. I think Plasma Defender is what I have. No, it's not. That's a different gun. Ported chambers for the Power Fist. Ripper high definition chain. Yeah, and then just a bunch of electronics. Honestly, we could start buying stim packs, but like that seems like all of our money would go away. We do have the thing, so as long as we don't lose all of our stuff in a fight, we can just like decide to sit and wait, and our HP should come back. I don't know if that's how the mechanic works exactly, but I mean, we have the implant that gives us money, our stuff over time. Whoa. Something happened here. I do really like throwing spears. They're funny. Kinda. Kinda worried about that. What's over here? Like, why are there so many dead... What is that? It's a golden gecko. Those ones' hides are worth actual, like, good money. Pretty scared. Oh, Eddie! I was gonna let him run away. Because I like these ones. Oh, but it's fine. It's okay. Who's this? Whoa. What? Radiation suit? Is he like is he like trying to be a superhero? Mr. Radical. Day 1. Love the suit. Can scavenge anywhere now. Screw the rads. I hereby christen myself Mr. Radical. Get it? Ah. Day 4. Suit passed first test with flying yellow colors. Overnight visit to Yucca Mountain. Didn't go too deep because something big moving around further down the tunnel. Rad level high even where I was. And I didn't feel a tickle. Go, rad suit, go! Day 5. I vomited all morning. Didn't splash on suit or I'd be pissed. Must be something I ate. Excited. Ran across old woman's scrapyard. Bought glowing container for measly 50 caps. Heading for Clark Field to prove suit at Whoopsie. For Clark Field to prove suit at higher rad levels. Even if it holds up, I'm gonna pop this jar of goop open and pour it all over me. I bet I could swim in this stuff if I had enough of it. Oh yeah! I think he died. I think... Is this... Maybe this place is like radioactive. Yeah, it is. Maybe we should put on his special suit. Oh yeah. Oh, they don't like me. Yo, these geckos are huge. Like, these ones are actually big. There must be something hiding here. There could be some reason to explore this place. Other than just, you know, principle. Wow. This is crazy. Ooh, scrap metal. That's always good. What do you find? Oh, another gecko. Why is there so many golden geckos here? There's so many. It's a good thing they give, like, so much, because it's just, like, a hassle to fight them now. Honestly, I think we're close to having 100 points in gun. I think that's what... Is that... That's crazy. That's just a single piece of head. So no head? No, not anymore. Not after I shot it off completely. Clark Field. There's gotta be something here, right? Camera. Some cigarettes. There's a bottle. But it seems to be just like a set dressing bottle? That's weird. I've never seen that before. Usually you can pick up... Oh, Mentats. Just on the floor? Hell yeah. We love Mentats. We love floor Mentats. It's our favorite Mentat. But yeah. It... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Metal box. I mean, there's some good scrap here. It's not all bad. And there's stuff already, like, metal. Oh, no. Oh no. Not the Brahmin. That's like my favorite guy. He's my favorite cow. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this to the cows? What is supposed to be here, though? What am I supposed to find here? Is it just his, I don't know why my stream keeps lagging for you, Abyss. It says that I'm doing all right. I do have, like, not great internet, so that could be it. But it says that I haven't dropped any frames, which means it shouldn't be behind. It might just be quality issues, and, again, no good internet. No good internet. Oh, also, Dweller, I saw your messages on Discord. I had messages turned off.
The Caesar has marked you for death, and the Legion obeys. Ready yourself for battle.
Okay, I'm ready. Wow. Wow. That is crazy work. That is so crazy. We're gonna need to... We're gonna need to use a bunch of stuff. We're gonna need to use a whole bunch of stuff here. We're gonna need to use so much shit. I'm so scared. Psycho's always good. We love Psycho. We can call for support. Come on. Yes! Okay, we might be okay, actually. Who is that? Why are they full, like, armor? Oh! I didn't know you could die in VATS. Oh! How far back are we? Whoa! We're so far back! Whoa! They put us so far back. We have to go do all of that again now. That's crazy. And we're gonna be marked for death? You're marked for death by the Caesar. Okay, bud. That's great and all, but, like, I got that gun on me. We have to go back and do all the Golden Gecko stuff again. Oh, man. Okay, well, we don't really need to go get all the Golden Geckos. You can just grab the suit. We can just grab the suit and then leave. To be completely honest, we could just grab the suit and leave. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do, because I don't wanna deal with all that again. Well, wait, no, but I do wanna kill them. And that's the thing, is that if I don't kill them here, they're gonna show up somewhere else that's probably worse, maybe? So, maybe we should just take care of them. Yeah, let's go hunting. Also, sorry for the train sound. It's my neighbor. He's a bit loud. He's a bit rowdy. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Alright, let him go, Eddie. Oh, wait, no, he's not gonna go. Wow. I like the way that the geckos look. They're cute to me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That zoom. Oh, whoa. Holy cow. That zoom was so far. It was like an insane zoom, actually. Oh, wow. Okay. The hide is what we're looking for. The hide is what's good, actually. The hide sells for a lot, but I think there's also like a really good thing that you can make if you get your crafting level up enough. There's like a thing you can make if you get your level high up enough, and then you can... Okay, so maybe we should get out of here before the Kaiser guys show up. Well, no, I wanna kill them. I wanna kill them so much. I do hate them like a good bit. I hate them a lot. Oh, wait, it's this thing here. This thing's the thing that has the rads. So what is it powering? Like, what is it supposed to be is the question. What is there to do here? What am I supposed to be doing here? The fellas are gonna show up again, though. It's just a matter of when. So maybe we should head on out. Oh, there they are. Yeah. Out. Leave Eddie alone. What did Eddie do to you? Eddie did nothing to you. You want to play that game? You want to play that game? You want to play that game? You want to fight with the hand? It's not doing much. I don't want to fight hand-to-hand anymore, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh! I wasn't watching my health! I wasn't watching my health! Oh no! Oh, Dweller, did you message me again? Wait. Oopsie. Sorry, I'm responding to a message. Okay. Back to the game, back to game, back to game, back to game. We have to go do all of that again. What we should do, okay. This time, we're gonna go there. Alright, we're gonna go to Novak. We're gonna go kill the geckos, and then we'll save. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Alrighty. Alrighty. So time to go do this for the third time. We go get the thing. And then we have someone remind me to save. Someone remind me to save so that I don't do this all over again for a third time. Oh, I accidentally took their armor. Oh, that's fine. We need it. We'll need it eventually because I want I want to go assassinate Caesar. That's kind of like the goal. I want to assassinate Caesar before we finish the game. It's one of my goals. What is this? Some mole rat. Oops. Okay. There's nothing. Killed little baby for nothing. Okay. Whole bunch of row. Whole bunch of row. Oh my. I wish this thing had a bigger cylinder. It's like the only downside to this gun is that reloading. Well, there's a perk you can get that makes reloading better, isn't there? Oh, wow. There's more than last time. Okay. Okay. Now let's save. Let's save. Yes. We'll overwrite this save. Okay. Holy, they're all in a pile. They're all in a pile. This is so... Okay, we're gonna save again after this. To move their bodies off of each other. Come on. Okay. Maybe we just did it correctly. Okay. We're gonna save again. I don't want to have to do that again. I don't want to have to do that again. That was so annoying. I don't want to pick. I don't want to have to pick all their stuff up again. Okay, hold on. We're gonna go on a short pause. Need to do something. And then we'll come back. And then we'll fight the guys. We'll fight the guys. We'll win this time. I'll make sure of it. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. I had to do some messaging and stuff for reasons. But I wanted to get that done while I was thinking about it and not forget. Because friendships are important and communication's important. All right, so time to kill the Legion. I hate them so much. There's a leather belt here. There's a mutt fruit here. There's steam gauge assembly here. Alright, there's a Mozambique here. We have to kill. Kill. So, also there's a piece of scrap here that I want. Oh my bad. We're gonna have to, like, go sell stuff again. But we should go ambush them on the hill. Yeah.
The Caesar is
Did I miss all those shots?
And the Legion obey.
Okay, Eddie. We need you. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I am, again, not really ready for this, am I? Let's see what else we can do. Oh, Eddie's getting messed up over there. Shit. Holy crap. Holy crap. We're still wearing the... Okay. What can we do right now? Sarsaparilla. That's what we can do. Oh wait, okay. I have an idea. Okay. Oh, he had a magnum. That's crazy. Oh, wow. Okay, we also have healing powder. Is that in Misk? Why would that be in Misk? No, it's not in Misk. It's here, isn't it? Healing powder. Okay. It does minus our perception, though. Do we still have stim packs? Do we still have a stim pack? We have one. Okay. Come on, luck. Yes! Let's get it out of his hand. Come on. Just something. Oh my gosh. We're so close. Oh, we were so close. We were so close. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We saved right at the perfect point. We can just go and do it again. I want them dead. Okay.
Had enough?
Yes! Okay, that's one of them. Shoot his gun. No. Don't. Oh, that guy has... Oh, that's why he fucked me up so much. He has a super sledge. He has the super sledge. Oh, no. Okay, where's Psycho? Where's Psycho? We need Psycho. We need it bad. Ooh, also, we need these. Okay, let's just pull this guy away, see if we can deal with him. Get that shit out of his hands. Yes! Pick that bitch up. God. Oh my god, these guys are difficult. These guys are difficult. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can lure them into the... Okay, they're gonna keep coming after us. Would we lure them into the strip? Or like somewhere where everyone will attack them? An NCR base. An NCR base. But I don't know where any of those are. We didn't do any NCR quests. Okay. Okay, well let's just take it slow. Do what we can. Okay. We're on their way. Let's take our Psycho. Does Psycho stack? I don't think Psycho stacks. Let's take some steady. Honestly, we'll take some med too, cause that's good. We're gonna need that. Where's the one that gives us like guns plus 10? That's what we need. We still have that? Please tell me we still have Milsurp review. It's Milsurp review. I just remembered. I just remember what it's called. Mentats add perception. Okay. Oh wait. Okay, now we have trooper support too. Yes! Oh, yes! Where's the metal guy? Where's the guy with the big metal? Is that this guy? Yeah, it's this guy. Thank God the NCR's not that pissed with us. Thank God! Oh. Oh, they do not like us. But that's okay.
Ranger at the ready.
Hello. Oh, you're not alright, are you?
Ranger at the ready.
Ranger at the ready. Okay, so... Did we pick up his super sledge on accident? What is holding us down? Oh, it's the apparel. Why do we even pick this up? Okay. Oh, because we needed it. We needed the Centurion armor because we want to go kill Caesar. Oh my. Vexilaria's helmet. That's hilarious. The Ripper? You deny your weapon its purpose. Okay. Okay. It's over. It's over. Finally. Oh. Alright, let's go back to Novak. Well, first, let's save. Let's save after that encounter. This is not good. How close are we to leveling? I imagine we're pretty close, huh? You see that in stats, right? Yeah. Holy, we are like inches away from leveling. Agility implant, confirmed bachelor. Oh, hell yeah. Oh my god. Canonically gay cowboy. Canonically gay cowboy. I love role-playing games. Yes! I could canonically be gay. With the educated perk, you gain 2 more skill points every time. And sensors. Oh, I can detect enemies in an increased range. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even notice that. I mean, I think I noticed this perk earlier, but like I didn't read it. That's really cool. Am I not wearing glasses? Are we not wearing glasses? No. We haven't been wearing glasses. Oh, maybe ours broke. Also, all of our stuff is like breaking or broken. Okay. With the NCR, okay, we're fine with the NCR, honestly. I'm a keeper. Hell yeah. They hate us. They hate us, obviously. They hate us. But okay, I'm looking at this picture of the Securitron. I thought that was like a mouth, like the Securitron was like a mimic or something. It's the mimic. We do have Gunslinger. Yeah. That's how we were able to do the thing where we shot the thing out of his hand. Where did that guy's super sledge go? He was using a super sledge. You can head out now, buddy. You don't have to be here. But he was using a super sledge. Did he get, like, knocked out of his hand? Oh, yeah, see right there. Oh, thermic lance. That's cooler than a super sledge. Thermic lance. Wow. That's actually really fucking cool. Oh, we're over Cucumber. I have 2 of these. I can drop one of those. Oh wow, the weight on those is crazy. Oh, the weight on these is crazy. Holy! We're only carrying those for money. What other stuff are we I just want to be able to, like... We can drop these. We don't even sell those anymore. Not even worth it. What is the Mark of Caesar? Legion Denarius. Well, I like the hide. Okay, well, that's... Whoa. A lot of stuff just went down that mountain. Okay, let's go home. Let's go home. We can come back. We can come back. It's fine. Let's go home. Let's go back to our home. We're an hour in and we haven't even seen the... We're an hour in and we haven't even seen the Brotherhood. We haven't even been near the Brotherhood. That's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to get to the Brotherhood. We're not even doing it. We're not even like getting to the Brotherhood. We're not even anywhere close. Okay. We should keep these on us. The service rifle does nothing for us since we have the gun. It did serve us for a while, so we'll keep it. I don't even know what Maria does for us since, again, we have that gun. We have that gun on us. Again, like, a lot of this stuff just does nothing for us because we have the gun. Well, this is actually okay. No, Maria's better because... Maria's like the backup for if we run out of that. I think everything else is kind of... Oh no. This is the wrong box. This is the right box. Whoopsie. We're gonna keep the Ripper and we're gonna keep the Thermal Lance because that thing's cool as fuck. But I think we're gonna we're gonna put the chopper away. Well, no, we can keep the chopper on us because it only weighs 2 and it's nice to have a melee just in case. Oh, we definitely need to put this stuff away. I don't know why I keep Benny's suit on us. It's like... I guess we'll put that away too. We did a lot of stuff. Want the hide to keep, cause there's a thing that you can make with it that I want. Ammo never weighs anything. Oh, we said we could put our service rifle away because it uses the same ammo as that gun. It uses the same ammo as that gun. We never used the binoculars. Why are we even carrying them? Put it away. We don't need it. I'm scared. I'm carrying the shovel because I'm scared that we're gonna find something that does need it. Wait, if I'm carrying the shovel... Oh no, the chopper does more. Of course, the chopper does more. It's a knife. It's a big cleaver. Of course it does more damage than a shovel. Hi, Eddie. Wait, Eddie, are you carrying anything? Oh my god, I keep forgetting that Eddie can carry... Oh my god, that scared me. Oh. Oh wow. Oh wow. That scared me so much. That scared me so much. That scared me so much. Oh. Okay. 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 Sadly, today's stream hasn't been the most entertaining. I'm sure it'll be fine as a VOD. Oh. I keep getting jump scared by Eddie just shooting stuff that I don't see or shooting stuff that's far away. Ooh! Ooh, Eddie. Ooh, Eddie. We're just gonna keep walking this way. I'm pretty sure this is how you get... Okay, no, this is how you get, like, jumped on. We're going back to Novak. We're gonna go to the Brotherhood of Steel Bunker. That's where we're going. We gotta... I gotta stop getting distracted. We're going to the Brotherhood of Steel bunker. We are gonna go do other stuff as well if we see it, but like, we gotta get on task, cause I ended stream early last time. I don't know why I did that. I guess I just felt the depression coming on, and I'm like, uh-oh, the depression's kicking in. You know, and I don't want to be on camera when I feel like that. So I kind of just left, and I feel bad because even though there's not too many viewers and only a couple people show up, I still want to do this. And when I start streaming, I want you guys to like have a consistent time frame, so that if you have to dip out or something, you can. Are these NCR guys? Please tell me they're NCR guys. Hey bro, you're nice, right?
Hold up there. This area is locked down by the NCR military until we can dislodge some Legion snakes from Nelson.
Okay. The name's Beeple.
Oh heck, I've heard of you. Supposed to be a
Yeah.
regular hero or something, ain't that right? But maybe
Yeah.
you're a little too reputable to get involved in some dirty work for the Republic.
I can do bad
Right.
things.
You have trouble even saying the word bad. Go on. If you want to do some good, head up to Camp Forlorn Hope.
No,
Howdy. What's the word? I sent you packing like...
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
I'm going? I'm going through anyways.
There used to be 2 commanders, but I only see 1. The other must be.
Why is the ranger still with us?
Ranger at the ready.
Okay. Well, apparently there's some Legion snakes over here somewhere. What is this wall of fire? This wall of smoke? Where does it lead? Does it signal? What does it mark? Mark? Are you sure? Pretty sure. Are you sure? Pretty sure. Are you sure? Are you sure? It's the Legion. It's the Legion! Rah! 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 Oh boy, repeater. And that's one of them rifle things, ain't it? Oh, that's crazy. Which follower? Oh. Finally. Authority glasses! Yes! I needed glasses. Okay. So, here's the thing. I kind of want to go do NCR quest just because, like, I want that cool, like the Ranger armor. The one that's on the cover of the game. It's because I think that armor is so sick. And isn't it like power armor, kind of? Oh, chat, who's getting the best head? Oh, hell no, he's getting teeth. He's getting teeth. Oh, wow, there's so many recruits. This whole town's just been, like, destroyed, huh? That's not good. Oaks and Nelson. Oh, that's not good either. Legion Mongrel. I like how we couldn't do anything about the Vros when we first met them, just because they were so powerful. But we've spec'd so heavily into guns now that they can't do anything against us. Like we absolutely just destroy. There's like nothing they can do, honestly. Alright, do we have a cowboy? Did we grab one of them? We did not sell that. I thought we did. Apparently we did not. Who are we fighting? Who's on their way? Is it the mongrel that you're fighting? You're fighting an actual dog. You're trying to fight an actual dog from all the way over here. It's insane. Yeah, nothing they can do. Nothing they can do, honestly. Oh wait, that trooper's still... The troopers are still alive. The troopers are still alive. Get alive. I bet you if we can sneak up and cut them down. Come on, help me. Help me, my brothers. Yeah. Oh, behind me.
Retribution.
Jesus. Oh, the sound that it makes. No. Why did it make that sound? We leveled. Yes. Put it in guns. We're guns 100. Hell yeah, baby. Guns 100 and it feels so good. What should we do now? What other stuff do we need? Repair. Repair is always good. Melee. I have wanted melee weapons. I have wanted melee weapons. Just a little bit of like smacking folks around. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But like, also we could spec into energy weapons because we do have so many of those. We have so many of them. Okay, let's just average out some stuff. No, I didn't want... No, I didn't want melee. I wanted unarmed. Where's our skill? Do we not get skills? What? Do we not get perks? I wanted perks. Oh, I'm so pissed. That pisses me off. Is it because we have too many implants? Does implants like override your ability to get perks? I'm beginning to think that Here and Now was bad. Cause, yeah, Gunslinger's so good though. Perception is what gives us VATS, right? No, it's not. I think it, yeah. I thought perception like upped your chances to hit stuff in VATS, but apparently not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Did we kill all these guys? Did we kill all the guys we came here to kill? Hi, Eddie. No. Didn't. Eddie's targeting. I wonder what the Legion can even sell us. Like, what can we even buy with Daenerys, bro? Probably fuck all. That's probably what we can buy. Where? over there. Yeah! Me and Eddie are like the dream team, bro. We're like actually just murder. Murder. And I brought murder.
Another
Holy shit. That's so much. That's so much immediately. Oh, even with the ambush. Even with the ambush, it's over. Dead Sea? That's a crazy name. Do you have anything? The Liberator. That sounds like a custom weapon. Yeah, that sounds like a custom weapon actually. So we'll steal it. Oh, this is stealing. This is stealing. This is bad. Don't steal, actually. This one's poor. You could tell which ones are. Oh, please. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? They killed our Vros. We killed our Vros. Alright. See, the NCR is fine. I mean, okay, the only thing with the NCR is I don't like the taxes. But, like, taxes are a necessary evil. Sometimes. They're sometimes a necessary evil. What are even in these? Metal armor. Oh, wait. That's good. I bet you there's like a quest if you're with the Legion to help them like take stuff from here. Yeah, no. We just need to clear out all the Legion. That's why we have to go into every house. Oh, wait, can we sleep? Yeah. Let's take a quick nap in the middle of killing the Legion. Take a quick little snooze. Alright. That's kind of funny. They saw us go down the hill, come back a day later. Yeah, they're all dead. Oh, that generator's already on. Also, is this AGT music? Is this a AFV? That's what I was thinking. Whoa. Hey man. I saw. Hey man. That's enough. Explorer. They're about to explore the afterlife. I straight up forgot like the reason we were going in these houses. I was like, oh yeah, we're here to fucking rip open the everything. I think the reason I'm liking this game is because I didn't spec into lock picking. I used to always spec into lock picking because I was just like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I want lockpicking. That's what I want to do. I want to get all the cool stuff that you get from lockpicking. Not realizing that you rarely lockpick that much, to be honest. How many times have we lockpicked? How many times have we puck locked? There's this, it's so loud. The train is so loud. Lock? Lockpick? What is this? Nuka-Cola Victory. It's so, like, we're just bright red. I wonder if they'll be happy that we disobeyed them and went and killed all the people. Or will they be mad? We saved the guys from the post. Did they actually make it out? Are any of them dead? Are any of them visibly dead? Visibly dead. Noticeably dead. The person? Is it a body? Body, I think. Oh, it's the dog. Dog meat. Fallout 4 reference. Yeah. That's what it is. Okay, so we didn't listen per se. We did straight up not. We just went past when they said don't do that. I didn't care. We fighting, bud. Legion Explorers. Yeah. Yeah. Fresh carrot. Not even anything good on him, bro. Nothing good. Okay. Now let's see. Oh. Let's see if we can go back to the road stop. Is that it right there? Yeah, that's it right there. We went and we killed everything. We even got some ranger armor. Yeah, low, yeah. See how their buddies went. Heck.
How's
Hey.
Howdy. What's the word? I have to admit, I didn't
Yeah.
think you could do it. Guess that makes me the sap and you the hero. I'm not
Yeah.
authorized to pay for contract work, but
He's dead. This time for good.
Ooh, NCR fame gained. Yay! What did he give me? Oh, 50 bottle caps.
Trolling the Mojave almost
Pretty
makes
low.
you wish for
Probably an entire swarm, an entire town infested with the Legion. 50 caps is not really worth it. But it's okay. Because me and Eddie, it's about the friends that you make along the way. Eddie, are you okay? I straight up forgot that they just booby trapped the roads. Okay, let's look at our map. We want to go down this one. It's closer to the bunker. The bunker is over there. I do want to like ally kind of with the Brotherhood because they're not that bad. They just like don't want people to have tech. Which I mean, I guess it's kind of a sentiment I could get behind, but also kind of not. Huh? Leave. Oh wait, there's more than one. Leave. What are they doing, like Sonic 06 jumps at me? Yeah! Did it. So cool. Yeah! They suck. They suck so much. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Fresh pear. Nice pear. I be eating pears. And all that, like pear. My homie's pear. What is it that guy said? It was something about pears. Like, I be eating pears. That's all I eat now, pear. Okay, place marker. Move it here. What I've been trying to do. Yeah, trying to get to the bunker. It's this way. Okay, so we straight up... That is the divide, I think. I think that's what that place is called. Yeah, this is the divide. This is the divide right here. That's like... I think that's the setting for an entire DLC down there. Or it's water. Or it's not the divide at all. It's not the divide at all, actually. So progress has been a bit slow on getting to what's it called? I guess maybe it hasn't. I just haven't streamed that much. We need more viewers. That's definitely like the #1 thing, is to get more consistent viewer base. But I think with the schedule now set up, I'm sure that we can get more viewers. Sadly, I love streaming so much. I might have to change it to be like 4 hours instead of just 3. Depending on how much fun I'm having, because like I always want to go longer than I'm supposed to, and I was told that, you know, consistency doesn't matter as much as like time gone, you know. Where is this? Is this the Camp Forlorn Hope? Is this the camp they were talking about? Yeah, it is. We went too far. Okay, well, okay, we're close to where we need to be. Let's check this place out. Let's hope that it's not overrun. Hello.
If you're heading out, be careful. There's been lots of Legion raiding.
We got XP for finding it. Is there... all we need is, like, we need a, oh, there's a ranger.
Sorry, I'm busy over there.
Oh, he has the cool armor. He's the really cool armor. Oh, he's the cool armor. Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. We might do NCR stuff just to get that armor. The mess hall. I mean, for Fallout standards, it's pretty clean. Hi. Hi. Hi.
The last patrol I was on got hit by a Legion raiding party. I barely survived.
That's
I wanna
crazy.
Go back out there again.
Yeah. Me neither, bro. Also, we got enough star tokens to do the thing.
Aren't you
Oh,
the guy
Private
that helped
Stone?
wipe out Nelson?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You kidding me, man? Everyone is either starving or dying out here. Left out to dry by the rest of the NCR. Fuck this place. I'd rather be anywhere else but here. My prop? We're out of food, we're out of men, and we're out of time. The Legion is right outside waiting to kill us all. Today,
Okay.
tomorrow,
I have to go kill some more
doesn't
Legion.
matter. We're all going to die here. So
Alright, well, let's see if there's anything we can do.
we won't go quietly. The Legion can count on
Private
me.
Saxton.
If it isn't the guy that defeated the Legion at Nelson.
Yeah.
I've been placed in charge of morale. In fact, there's more hope in wrangling Brahmin with my grandmother's stocking than inspiring these troopers.
Yeah. 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 There's no hope
Ironic,
in
isn't
hope,
it?
is
But
there?
it's understandable. The constant skirmishes take their toll on everyone in the
We have to
end.
kill some more Legion.
But I can't complain. I'm not in the field as much
Yeah.
as the others. I just stay here most of the day, coming up with activities.
Oh, I
to
had
occupy
like
the
a
camp.
wave of
Which
nausea.
reminds me of something I've been meaning to try. A killer competition to boost morale. Interested?
Okay.
Great. Since the camp is threatened by Legion, I propose a hunt.
Okay.
Great. Don't be surprised if you're already last when you return. Can I help you with that?
Here are some ears.
Oh man, awesome!
Wow. Okay. So, if I just bring him
Look
ears.
who we have here. Lower than...
Okay, so all we have to do is just bring him ears that we find.
I'm glad that the Legion base at Nelson is destroyed. Now maybe we can get some rest.
Yeah, it's still considered stealing. I mean, everything's empty here anyways, so it don't matter. Teddy bear. Eddie Bear, all the books are burned.
Hey,
It's like we're in World War II. That is power armor.
Nice job.
It looks so weird. It looks so weird, doesn't it? Like, power armor is supposed to be bulky and huge. I mean, say what you will about Fallout 4, but the power armor system in Fallout 4 is way cool. Here's a shack. NCR trooper. Just normal unnamed troopers. Normal troopers and such. Oh, cool. Okay, so it's just getting those letters. Oh, medical center.
I hear
Hi,
you
Dr.
defeated the
Rickard.
Legion forces at
Rickard?
Nelson.
That's
I'm
not how you
impressed.
say that name.
Thankful. It'll make my job around here much easier. Things are better now that the Legion... Quite a bit, actually. I was stationed there nearby during the first battle for Verdam. The Legion attacked in full force. Chief Hanlon had the troopers fall back, pulling the end. The Legion got bogged down, and Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters started taking out the Legion officers.
That's cool.
They sent their
Yeah.
best men to stop the Rangers and 1st Recon, but the Rangers pulled them into a trap at Boulder City and blew them all to hell. After that, the Legion's forces were in disarray and tried to retreat. However, our forces advanced rapidly and routed them, and that was that.
Must have been rough.
You have no idea. Anyone with medical training had their hands full for weeks after the battle was finally over. During that time, I saw quite a few things I wouldn't mind forgetting about. My take. I don't... Sorry, I'm...
Okay. Sorry, I want to, like... What's it called? I want to, like... Do we have enough in meds?
I'm always a sucker. Men have waged war on each other for countless centuries.
Yeah.
Now is no different. People fight and die for what they believe in. I'm just here to patch them up so they can go on their merry way. Do no harm in all that.
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can. There's barely enough equipment or medicine to handle the number of injuries we have. To make things worse, I think someone might be stealing my supplies.
Yeah. Oh.
The simple fact that I no longer have as many supplies as I should. I've been careful with them, and I should have more than what remains.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I don't have time to go searching for the missing... Perhaps you can come...
I don't want to, like, take any more quests because, like, I don't know how to turn them off. So... Yeah, we'll just head out. I just wanted to see if there's any, like, merchants or anything I can do. Or, like, sell stuff to, but apparently not. Can I dig up any of these graves? Please tell me I can. Wait. Who are you fighting, Eddie? Oh. Okay. That's that. Just some bloat flies. I really do love having Eddie around. Also, I just realized. Oh wow. I just realized this music has been blaring this entire time. It's so loud for you guys. It was way too loud. I know that I could hear myself. Myself could probably be heard over you guys. So, like, oh, I'm crippled. Whoopsie. Should I just, like, I could just use a doctor bag, honestly. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Alright. So, camp's fucked. That's basically the gist. the gist of this whole area is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Nothing good. I do like seeing the Ranger, because they're like my favorite guys. Oh, hi.
Patrolling the Mojave.
It's the command center.
I have a report here that says the Legion forces it. You have my thanks for that. Those guys have been giving us. Now that they're gone, I'm short-staffed and I don't have the time. I need someone to talk to a few of the officers and... Good. Let's not waste time then. Our biggest problems right now are supplies and troops, and the Quartermaster Mays has been complaining to me non-stop about the lack of supplies. I want you to speak with him and see...
Okay. Well, I just took on another mission on accident.
Hey, you're not one of the troopers. Got a second? I have the delightful task of tabulating stockpiles, kill ratios, mission success rates, radiation deaths, and other true... I've come across numerous inconsistencies between our numbers and our reports, especially with regards to intercepting hostiles. I'm wondering if our radio security codes have been compromised. I need someone to deliver security code upgrades to each of the Ranger stations.
Yeah, okay,
I've been trying to get someone to authorize this update, but nobody takes me seriously. They just think I'm an incompetent desk jockey. This holotape contains the updated security codes for the Ranger stations. Show it to the comm officers there. Once the new codes are in use, anyone still using the old codes will just hear static if they're listening in on our frequencies.
Okay.
Bye.
Alright, well, I guess it's good. I don't know. I get like bogged down by information overload. Also, I'm not gonna be streaming the entire all of my time playing this game. We're just gonna be doing like the main story, or until I feel that it's time to end it. It's like one thing I've realized when I did streaming, I've done streaming for a long time now, actually, because I was a content creator before Beepo and stuff, so I did streaming and all that, and I at one point I was streaming every day for like a couple months, actually, and I just started hating video games. So I realized I need to be playing games outside of content, and especially games that aren't like multiplayer games, because then I start associating these types of games, or just like games in general, as anger. Okay, we're gonna go to the Brotherhood. We're gonna go to the Brotherhood now. I'm pretty sure I blacked out there for a second and I stopped talking, but I don't remember. Something angry this way comes. Whoa. The bunker is right here. Is this rock, huh? This rock contains the bunker. Yeah. Yeah! Something's here. Equipment storage. Abandoned BOS bunker. Cloud residue. Huh. It's so weird. Sierra Madre. Open door. Oh. 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 That's another... Okay, well, this is another one of those things that this is the... Okay. Yeah, no, can't be going there. Okay, so then what's the leads on the actual Brotherhood of Steel then? Oh, okay, because that's the only thing I knew about. Okay, well, okay, I guess we'll go do... What is... Okay. Make contact with the Brotherhood of Steel. Visit the White Glove Society. Tell Yes Man that you visited Gamora and wish to ignore the Omertas. Go to Red Rock Canyon and make contact with Great Khans. Make contact with the Boomers. So... Here's the reason why I want to meet the Brotherhood so bad. They're the only faction... They're the only faction that you can side with. Maybe. I don't know. I again haven't finished this game before, so I don't know. But I've watched a lot of videos online because that's what you do when you're bored. I think the Brotherhood are like the only faction you can side with as Yes Man that aren't deplorable people. The Great Khans, they're not like Raider bad or like, you know, Legion type bad, but they're just drug dealers and that's not cool. The Boomers are religious fanatics who want to, and they're racist. They're pretty much racist. They want to go big plane and destroy anything that's foreign to them. And that's not okay. That's gross. That's weird. That's bad. Can't be doing that, Boomers. It's kind of funny that they're called Boomers. The White Glove Society, the cannibals. I think they're the ones that are cannibals. I know that one of them are cannibals. One of the people in the strip are cannibals, so we have to go kill all of them. And I guess we can just ignore the Omertas. I don't know what their whole deal is. Maybe they're just assholes. They are on the strip. So kind of expect them to just be assholes. We are in, like, deep territory here, eh? Alright, so... Where's the map? We should just... Uh-oh. What are all these? When did I get the ability to fast travel? Oh, wait. I know where these are. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do know where... Wait, Hidden Valley. Oh, maybe that's... Red Rock Canyon is the cons. Does the Omertas... These things right here, those are the Omertas. Those are the Boomers. So maybe Hidden Valley here? Maybe this is where the Brotherhood are? We can go directly to them. I'm thinking that could be it. There's a companion that joins you, that lets you into the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood are cool, cause, like, if you're part of the Brotherhood, then they're sick with you. And they're not really... Okay. It's different, because the Brotherhood and Fallout 4 are like the NCR in this game. Where they're just like a military force. Or trying to help everybody. Which I think is okay. Even if it's like shit on the inside, it's shit everywhere else. I'll always like be a proponent for freedom. Oh, that's a Cazador. Those are no good. Those are no good. Those are no good. We learned about them earlier. These are no good. I feel woozy. Okay, I need the anti-venom. It's a good thing it's dropped by fucking everything. Yes. Why are there so many? No, don't aim it. Where's their head? 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 That's antenna. Just go. Just die. Just die. Yes! That was so cool. That was actually sick. Are we still fighting? Or are they dead? Are they gone? I'm still hearing stuff, so I'm like, are they dead? Are they gone? Oh. They're all young Cazadors, so they're different. What is this? Oh no. Supply crate. Oh. Oh, wait. Oh, thanks. There's Legion. Die! Legion. Also, I think I'm poisoned. Might be poisoned. Legion ears. Do you have a Legion ear? Yeah, you do. Okay. So the more Legion that I kill, the more those guys like me. Okay, let's... I'm getting sidetracked again, but it's fine. Let's go back to the camp. Because I'm pretty sure something I did was for the shipments. Well, they needed one of the shipments.
Another day, another battle.
I'm glad to see you here.
Okay.
Watch yourself out there.
Another dead trooper.
That's just a normal trooper.
When is this shit gonna end?
Where is the shipment person? You're the person who needs the help with the communications. Where's... Okay. I'm assuming because it's near here, it's one of these quests.
So,
Quartermaster.
I heard you helped take over Nel. So, the Major has you running errands for him. Damn it all. I sent some men out to... At least we have the supply. Thanks for finding these.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. That's not a very, like, interesting quest. I guess it would have been interesting if I actually did it. But I guess I just found the thing.
Back already? What do you need? I heard. The extra... With all the Legion raids lately, we're running low on troops that can still fight. I want you to check in with Dr. Richards and see if he needs any help getting our troops back on the front line.
Okay. I mean, these quests aren't too bad. We can just do them real quick. Right? I'm pretty sure. I want to stay... I wanted to stay within the bounds.
I think it just got a little...
Is he flirting with me?
With business booming like it is, and considering I'm the only
Why is it doing that?
person with medical experience in the camp, I could perhaps use a hand.
Did one of the
Do you have any
cats-
medical experience? Excellent. As you can see, we have a lot of injured troopers here. Since you have some medical experience...
Okay. Okay. Hi, banana. Welcome. I'm contemplating. I have to help them. Okay, what does he need? Welcome in. We're doctor right now. That's what we're doctoring. We have to doctor. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we need to... What does they need? Right, this one. This one right here. Med-X, whiskey, and surgical tubing. Med-X, whiskey, and surgical tubing. Surgical tubing. Let's find surgical tubing. I know that I have Med-X. I know that I have Med-X. There's empty whiskey.
Evening.
Surgical tubing. Whiskey. Cool. Okay. Yeah! We're doing it! It's okay. Yay! That's one of them. That's one of them. That's one of them. We're so doctor right now. We're so doctor right now. Okay. Medical brace, Med-X, and a bone saw. Okay. Bone saw and a medical brace. Medical brace, bone saw. Does he have Med-X? Or am I just having to use all of my own Med-X? You're a shit doctor. Where's the guy? Where's the guy? Medical brace. Okay. Yes! We're so doctor right now. You put the medical brace on him. Amputate. Oh my god. We took his arm and his leg, but it's okay. What do you need? Med-X and a super stim pack. I have a super stim pack. Oh, I have to use... Okay, where's tweezers? We need tweezers. Tweezers. Oh, it's all good, yeah. Anything helps. What are you packing for, Banana? You going on a fun trip? Tweezers. Yes, tweezers. Tweezers. Please tell me he has like Med-X or something so I don't have to use all of my shit. It's Rad-X. This blood pack. Oh my gosh. He's really making me use all of my own Med-X. And a super stim pack. And don't forget. I mean, I guess I get a doctor's bag out of it. It's fine, I can... Is he the last one? There we go. There we go. Here we go. Use the Med-X and dull the patient's pain. Carefully, you use the tweezers to pick out pieces of shrapnel. Due to the extreme loss of blood, the patient goes into circulatory shock. You quickly use the super stim pack to stabilize the patient. The patient will make a complete recovery. Dr. Beepo is fucking... I'm doing God's work. It's never lupus. I've never seen House, I've just seen YouTube shorts, and that's basically the same thing. You basically get the entire show off of YouTube shorts, right? My god, I really did use my own super stim pack. Oh, that's so fucked up. Why would he do that to me? Where's the doc? Where's the doc? Where the fuck did the doc go? Alright, well, we'll just sit and wait here for a good 7 hours. Hope that the doctor comes back, because I'm not an actual doctor. Hello?
There's my little buttercup. What can I do for you?
He is trying to riz. He's trying to riz so hard. My little buttercup. My little buttercup. Yeah. I got a boyfriend, Dr. Richards. You can't be talking to me like that. Finish looking over your patients.
Where'd you learn to do all that? I don't think I could have done much better myself. Very impressive.
Thanks.
As for the men, they'll recover soon and be back on the front lines in no time. Huh, the circle of life.
Okay.
I'll send word to Major Palatley about your work here. Once again, you have my sincerest thanks.
Alright. I did that. Time to return to Major Balatro. Major Balatro. Hello.
Already? What do you need? Dr. Richards said you did a good job in there.
Yeah.
That's mighty high praise coming from you. Well, with that over with, and the Legion forces that Nelson defeated, we finally have some breathing room.
Hopefully.
Now we can actually try to strengthen our forces along the river and prepare for the upcoming battle at Hoover Dam.
Damn. Oh shit, we get a lot of XP for this. The NCR likes me a lot, I think. So that's cool. Oh, wait. Tech Sergeant Reyes.
Back already?
Oh, wait, hold on. I should probably ask him about the NCR.
Not good. We still haven't gotten any support from the It's no picnic, I'll tell you that much. My troops are out here. We have no men or supplies, and we're stretched. If the brass back home could get their heads out of their asses long enough to...
Okay. Alright, well, I did a lot.
Hey.
I should probably go to that one guy and give him the rest of the ears that I took from the guys. I did rip a bunch of ears off. This... Oh, whoa. That's the dinner alarm. I will not be eating. I will not be participating in eat. There we go. Tracking's back. Good. Is there anyone even here? There's no one here. Wow, what a jail. This shack is empty, I remember. I love Kirby so damn much.
I've heard of...
Cool. He doesn't want to do anything. He's just a dick. Hello, Private Sexton.
Hey there. The name's Sexton.
Sexton. Private James Sexton. Here's some ears.
Oh, man. Oh.
Okay. I think if I just keep giving him ears, that's like the entire job. He just wants ears. Maybe he's got... Oh. I really hope he doesn't have like a thing for that. I've been on the internet long enough to know that that is definitely a thing. Like, no question. I just want...
These troops did a good job holding off the Legion. Now
I just want this kind of... This armor. I don't know how to get it without killing one of them. And I think if I kill one of them, they're gonna be very mad. They'll be very cross with me. Okay. We gotta stop getting so distracted. Hidden Valley. That's where we're going. Okay. Let's head to Novak. Let's just quick travel to Novak real quick. Is it called Novak because no vacancy? That's funny, actually. I didn't even notice. Or is Novak the name and then they did that to the sign? What comes first? What comes first here? Is the real question. What is this? What are you, pals? What are you doing?
Morning.
Oh, it's the sexy one. Oh. How you doing, good looking? Your eyes are magical. This bit sucks. Oh, this is the worst bit ever. It's like the only clip I'm getting out of this stream, ain't it? Yeah. Hey, it was good use of my actual toggles. I barely ever use them because I forget that I have them. And also I use my keyboard weird. Like, my hands like fully spread out across my desk. So definitely like a weird position. Especially when I'm playing games with controller, because I prefer to play games with controller, honestly. Well, no. I guess it depends on the game, because, like, certain games I'm just used to playing with controller, or I played for the first time on controller and just, like, want to do that better. It's a lot more convenient to play with a controller, I'd say. Whoa. What was there? There's a hidden cave here. Oh, wow. Oh, no. That's not good. You got messed up. Ooh, 556. Hell yeah. So sorry that you died. I'm gonna burgle your stuff. Is this shovel? Is this shovel? Is there anything like to do with this area? Is there any secrets? Any secrets here to be found? It seems like if there was a secrets, it would be in here, right? Can I cook anything? Yeah, no, see, look. Gecko-backed leather armor. This is what I was talking about. Oh, wow. Agility -1, rad resistance, poise resistance, fire resistance. Yeah, look at that. Metal armor. Reinforced metal armor. That's kind of... This is what I was talking about, but you need, like, huge amounts of, stuff to do it. So I'm sure in the future I'll do it. Sure in the future I'll actually, like, take the time to go figure that out, but... I don't know about right now. I don't even know about this playthrough because my character's built up already. I did not spec into that. Where are we going? We're trying to get over this mountain. But it's a weird shape. What's the bet? Okay, we're going here. Okay. Actually, maybe Sloan? Maybe go to Sloan. Oh yeah, this is the... Hey buddy! Hi Snuffles. I don't have enough. Oh wait, hold on, hold on. Do I have Doctor's Daily? Can I help Snuffles? Can I help Snuffles? Fixing things. Bad's life. Science. Do I have something with meds? Or did I use it? I think I used it in that one fight, didn't I? Unarmed. There. Yeah, I used it in that fight.
Stay back in California some days.
Alright. Shit. You think I could take on a Deathclaw now? You guys want to go see if we could take on a Deathclaw? We do got that gun. Let's go see if we could take on a Deathclaw. Sure we could. We have guns 100. We have guns 100, man. Okay, first, let's save. Because, yes. Also, we don't want to be swarmed by several. Oh no. It's a bad idea. Yeah, no, we've been spotted. Oh, Eddie, why would you ever do that? Eddie, you dumb boy. Oh, Eddie. Yeah, no, I'm doing nothing here, aren't I? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Eddie, you dumbass. Oh. Oh, okay. Let's head this way instead, Eddie. Because we need to get Tom's Lewis. That's a crazy name. There's Snuffles over there. Accidentally targeted him. We need to get... Let's hope those aren't dead Death Claws. Please tell me you're not trying to fight anything. Okay. It's just scorpions. Oh my god, just one-shotting them is so fun. It's so good. Oh wow, there's so many. There's so many. Why is there so many? Whoa! Bro just spawned in. I think we can take him though. If it's just one, I'm sure we can take him. What items do we have? Oh, Jesus. Come on. Something. Yes! Oh. And that's all I get? Okay. Eddie. Whoa. Okay. I thought I died. I thought like a Deathclaw ran up behind me. Oh, whoa. Oh, oh. It's a blood pack. It only gives you 1 HP. That's crazy. Okay. I need like actual food. Where's food? Or like water or something. Maize, that's food. Yeah, water. Or just sit and wait. It'll definitely actually help us because we have the implant that does the helping. Okay. Yeah. There's the bunker. The bunker lost its textures. We should probably save. Save without textures. Textureless saving. Oh, saving actually helped. I'm sure this place is like overrun with something maybe. Yeah, no, because there's just a consistent red dot. Oh wait, there's several different entrances. Okay. Oh. Maybe this, yeah, I'm sure that this is where the Brotherhood is. Okay. Let's see if we can, okay, let's just go in. Let's just go in. What is bro fighting? He's always making that fucking sound. Oh. Hello, sirs?
Listen very closely and do as I say. Your life depends on it.
Okay.
Hand over everything
Let's
you're carrying. Weapon.
Let's turn the music off. Let's turn the music off. This is serious. This is serious stuff. This is serious stuff.
Clothes, armor, everything. I want you stripped down to your underwear.
What?
There's nothing to talk over. You can strip down and hand over your equipment, or you can die. Will you comply? Take it all off and hand it to me. Then come inside and through the door at the rear of the chamber.
Okay.
Paladin Ramos is waiting for you.
Whoa.
Watch out!
He's waiting for me? He's waiting for me naked? Oh, good thing I can still wear my hat. Good thing I can still wear a hat. Sorry, I had to clip that. That was a good clip. That was a decent clip. Alright, chat. I'm sorry.
How the hell did you get in here?
Hello.
Normally, I would have already shot you, but I'm under orders to bring you to the Elder. Will you come peacefully?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take you to him. Follow me, closely, or you'll be shot.
Okay. I will follow. Hello.
How did you find us, stranger? And do tell
Hello.
the truth. You took an extreme risk in coming here. My policy towards trespassers has not been lenient.
I didn't even see their patrols.
The security of this bunker is my foremost concern, and I take pains to minimize our exposure topside.
Topside,
For
yeah.
this reason, I might be interested in contracting with an outsider who can accomplish certain tasks, some basic, some a bit more involved.
Yeah.
An NCR ranger has begun to set up post in one of the other bunkers up top, for example. I want him driven off. Understood?
Yeah, I get it. Wait, what?
Very well. I'll be interested to see how thoroughly and efficiently you carry out your mission. Paladin Ramos will escort you back to the bunker's entrance and set you loose. Notice that I said
loose, not free.
You are not free to carry the secret of this bunker's location beyond Hidden Valley, until I'm convinced that you're capable and dependable. To underscore this point, you'll be fitted with an explosive collar. Wander off and it will detonate. Focus on your mission, and you'll be fine.
Okay. So they...
You'll find your equipment in the chest to your right. Don't bother coming back until you've dealt with the ranger.
Okay. Do I really have to... Okay. I really have to put on... I have to re-put on all my shit. Also, that my hat is done. So what is this quest? I wasn't paying attention. Oh. I have to kill a ranger. No, I just have to deal with them. It didn't say kill. Where's that gun? Oh yeah, we need to repair this soon. Wait, hold on, don't I have a weapon repair? Yes. Perfect. My gun is in good condition again. Is it just me, or did its little yellow thingy get brighter? Maybe it's just the lighting? Okay, so they're camping out in a bunker that's close to us. We have to stay in Hidden Valley. They're camping out in a different bunker, though. Maybe it's this one? One closest to the gate? At least we did what we accomplished. We met the Brotherhood. Are they in this one? NCR guy. Okay. I think if we try to... Oh. I need better lockpick anyways. I think if we try to force ourselves in, we'll get in trouble. Okay. So the one that the Brotherhood's in is over there. Which means that they're in a different bunker. We just have to check all of them. Maybe it's the one that's off this side. What's that fighting I hear? Explosions of some sort. What are you fighting? What is he mad at? We walked in the door. We just barely walked in. Why is this door lock easy? Wait, hold on. Alright, well, we'll see. Maybe we can lock our way in. Right here. Yes! No. I'm scared it's gonna be in the one that's average. But no, they wouldn't that's bad game design. They wouldn't soft lock. Because that could lead to a soft lock where you're just stuck here. What are you fighting? Oh, the scorpion. Here we go. We got it. We got it, Eddie. Stop fighting. Oh! Scary. Is this the one we just came from? That is the one we just came from, right? Yeah, that's the one we just came from. Hey, this is like actually kind of infuriating. I really have to hope it's this one. Okay, let's just hope. Oh, there's signs. There's signs. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. This is all mine now. Just a whole bunch of food. Sleeping bed. Instamash, pork and beans. Oh, I was so sure. So sure. Okay. If it's a hard lock, that's... I can't get into a hard lock. What's the problem? Please tell me that there's at least one more bunker that's the correct one. Oh. Oh no, is this game bad? Is the game design flawed? Oh no! Did I get soft locked here? That's the one that the Brotherhood are in, right? This is the one that they're actually in. Yeah. I don't know how to get out of the valley if there's a bomb collar on me. Oh no. That's not good. So how do I get... That's crazy. Who are you fighting at? Who are you fighting? Maybe we'll just go back through. We'll just go back through. We'll just go back through. Hope to find the thing. Just hope real hard. What? Oh. He's not great, actually. That's not good. Hello? Anyone home? Okay, what's my lockpick skill at? Lockpick is at 39. If I... Okay, do I have... We just have to hope that this thing stacks. And also that the thing is, we have to hope that it stacks and that this is the right bunker. Okay, where's the lockpick? Okay. Yes, okay. Let's see. Does it affect it? Oh my god. Oh my god. I just wasted. It does not stack. Okay. What do I do? We have to find this ranger. I was trying to be nice to the NCR. I'm afraid I'm gonna get like so actually tilted at this that I end up actually killing the ranger that's down here. I'm gonna get so mad. I'm gonna be so pissed off. There's nothing. There's nothing it can... Oh yeah, this is the one that I actually did like work out. Is there something over here? Like, is there something I missed? Is there something... no. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. Maybe if... Okay, maybe if I go back to the other one that had all the stuff in it. Maybe if I go sleep on the bed. Just wait. And see... That's the one that they're actually in. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is the one that I think has the stuff. This is the one, right? Come on, please. Yeah. Five Nights in Betty. Scott Coughing. Scott Coughing had a cough, so he was ordered to spend 5 nights in Betty. Oh!
Thought you'd sneak up on me, you filthy powder ganger?
He jump scared me. Oh no. Oh, that was the worst one of today. That was the worst one of today. This happened several times today. That's the worst one. Oh no. Oh, I hate that. Fucking jumping at me. Always jumping at me. Not a powder ganger.
Exactly what Powder Ganger Scum would say. Any last words before I pull this trigger?
I'm not a powder ganger.
Relax, son. Just pulling your leg. What can I do for you?
Who
Dobbs
are you?
is my name. I'm an
Who
NCR
are you?
ranger operating out of Camp McCarran, north of here. Reading man by birth, though. Well, I thought I might set up a safe house in one of the bunkers here, between the remote locations. Of course, seems a lot less remote since you showed up. Plus, I haven't been able to get my radio working. And I reckon I'll stick around a while, patrol for troublemakers, see if I can get that radio working. Standard practice. Rangers operate on our own most. Usually we call in our positions to McCarran to be relayed to other rangers, but I can handle myself.
Okay.
I'm sure as hell not gonna lose any sleep on account of a goddamn broken down radio. But it will shorten my stay if I can't fix it. Oh. See now, thing is, I fancy myself a bit of a tracker. And I could say that's on account of the dust storms.
Okay.
Now why would I do that? You see some powder gangers on the approach or something?
Oh my gosh.
A Brotherhood base? Here?
Oh
Are you
my
shitting
gosh.
me? No one's seen
I'm
them
still
for
like
years.
shaking.
I don't suppose you've got a scrap of evidence to support this wild-eyed claim of yours. I'll be. Let me take a look at that.
Ooh.
All this is a slave collar. Seen plenty of these infernal contraptions in my day, and I know just how to spring them. Hold still. There, it's off. Now thing is, a slave collar seems a little too basic for the Brotherhood. That's not to say I don't believe you, but... Did you just hear something?
Oh no. Well, I guess the Brotherhood of Steel's out. Okay, so I'm gonna have to die. I'm gonna have to die. I'm gonna have to die. There's no way. I'm just gonna have to kill this ranger. He's behind me. He's behind me. He's behind me. He's behind me. Where is he? Okay. Where is he? Where's Ro? Hey.
Thought you'd sneak up? I'll point my... Exactly what...
Oh, I'm real sorry.
Over here! You like that?
I'm real sorry. Oh, my alliances. Oh, no. Oh, Dobson. He was so nice, too. Oh, he was so nice. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, I feel bad. I feel really bad. Eddie, tell no one. Tell no one what I had to do. Oh. Oh. Dobson. There was no way for me to... There was no way for me to convince him. There's nothing I could have done. I had to kill him. I had to do it. I had to. I don't feel good.
Stand back from the door.
I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that at all.
How did you resolve the situation with the ranger? How do you know he won't be missed? That other Rangers won't come looking for him? Or NCR patrols? Did you just make matters worse? That's right. Because you did nothing to find out. It would seem you are a brute. But even a brute can be of use.
No.
Particularly one capable of taking down an NCR Ranger one-on-one. Since you completed your assigned task, I will allow you to come and go from the bunker freely.
Okay.
So let's get that collar off you. There, that's better, I hope.
No.
Now that we have that bit of unpleasantness out of the way, there is a matter that I would like to discuss with you. Stop by the command room when you can. Oh, and bear in mind, if you end up betraying us, we will know it. And there will be no mercy.
Oh, no. There was... I'm not gonna save Scum because that'd be bad, but like... It was an option not to kill him. Oh no. I feel so bad. Oh. Oh no. Like, that genuinely is messing with me. Okay, well... Let's get some power armor! How about it? How about we try to get some power armor? These are bathrooms. Those are bathrooms. Oh my god. Oh, it's a scribe?
Hello, outsider.
Hello. Hi, insider. Hello, insider. Oh, I feel so bad for killing him. I feel so genuinely bad. He was such a cool dude. He wasn't a dick. He was like, yeah, I'm a ranger. I'll do my job. I'll do good at my job. And I murdered him. Who are you?
Hello, you must be the outsider everyone's talking about. I'm Linda Schuller.
Oh, wow. Wow, one cap off of Stimpaks? Wow. Okay. Oh. Sorry, like, that genuine, like, I know that this is what the games are about. And this is what I'm supposed to do, but like, it's genuinely messing
I heard some
with me.
special... Welcome to the range. Sure. The Elder's already given the...
Later. Why does he say it like that? Is the door?
You must be the stranger I've been hearing about.
Oh.
Sorry, but I'm strictly forbidden.
Okay, well, I guess I have to become an insider. Okay. Where am I
You're being
supposed
watched, so
to
don't
go?
get any ideas.
Yeah, I figured that.
Your presence here, let's just say it's
Say
highly
it's
irregular.
highly irregular,
Outsiders
yeah.
aren't even allowed to know that our bunker's here, let alone come and go freely. You impressed Elder McNamara, obviously. He must believe that you'd be very useful. That's right. Nothing gets in or out of here without me knowing it.
Okay.
Normally, that would have fallen under my jurisdiction, but the Elder thought it'd provide a good test for you, so I backed off. Under the lockdown, only essential personnel are permitted to enter or leave. That includes supply runners and high-security patrols. All other personnel are forbidden to leave, and any personnel that were out there when the lockdown was enacted are forbidden from returning. Fine by me.
Okay, so apparently they're on, like, lockdown.
Reports say Mr. House's robots are now using tech we've never heard of. We need to send a team up there soon.
Okay, well, we're part of them. I am Mr. House now, technically. Like, if you think about it, I am him. It's my whole job. Oh, wow. I'm like so messed up, man. I cannot. Like, I killed that guy. And it shouldn't mess with me this much, but like, I've kind of made it a point only to kill, you know, bad fellas, bad peeps. People who I don't see as like good. Dawson wasn't bad, he was doing his job. He was doing what he was told to, and he just wouldn't listen, but that's what I get for foresight. That's what I get for knowing. You know? That's what I get for, thinking and knowing and all that. It's not... Oh... I'm like dazed almost, because I didn't want to kill that guy. I have to find the Elder. Oh, level 2. Maybe he's in here. Hopefully he's in here. Yeah, there he is. Hello.
When you first showed up on our doorstep, I'll admit at first I didn't know what to think. After giving the matter some thought, however,
all the air's knocked out
I've
of me.
decided that an outsider could be of great use to me right now. However, I will not force you to help us. Should you refuse, you will be allowed to leave here. Though no... What do you say, outsider?
I'll help
you. Then
you.
allow me to explain our situation. This bunker is currently locked down, allowing no entry or exit, with you being one of the few exceptions. In exceptional cases, teams are sent out to investigate sites or retrieve materials deemed too important to ignore. 3 such teams have gone missing recently, and the news of their disappearance has not yet been widely spread to avoid undue concern. In order to maintain the peace and adhere to the strictures of the lockdown, I need to send someone else to discover what happened to them.
Oh.
I'm glad I can count on you. Oh, and one other thing. The shielding of the bunker prevents us from actively tracking them, but their position... Should our worst fears become realized, please bring back all 3 of the holotapes from the patrols. Otherwise,
bring
our brothers home. I've given the order that you be given access to some of the equipment our scouts and patrols have scavenged over the years. You won't be allowed to purchase any prohibited equipment, but hopefully some of what's available will prove useful to you.
Okay. Well... Oops. Why is that seen as bad? Is this a bad? Oh, this is a bad. Okay. They've given us access to equipment, I guess.
You're the outsider that's been given leave to wander
Whoa,
around free.
buddy.
Desperate times call
Your
for
line's
desperate
crazy.
measures, I guess. Name's Hardin. I'm the head paladin of this chapter, and I think we might be able to help. I don't know what the Elder talked to you about. Are you willing to listen to what I have to say? As you may have already heard, this entire base is under a state of lockdown. No one goes out except small patrols at night. Most of the chapter has been sealed in here for years, and those few who were outside when the lockdown was initiated are forbidden from returning. Morale has plummeted as time has gone by, and many of our current paladins haven't seen combat outside of training simulations, and all because of the Elder's explicit order that no one be allowed in or out. The only way things will change is if a new Elder is installed. I would. I'm the senior-most paladin in the chapter, and have more combat experience than any 2 others here put together. I'd gladly support another candidate, but no one has the courage to step forward and make the attempt. So it falls to me.
If I do it?
I would put this chapter back. Of course I have, many times in fact. The Elder has an open-door policy and will listen to advice on any subject save this one. He refuses to see that our isolation is slowly weakening us. Aside from being our duty, going out on missions is what kept us strong. And because he fails to see that, he must be replaced. I don't know. I've gone through our records dozens of times looking for a precedent regarding the dismissal of an Elder and come up with nothing. The people who are most likely to know how it could be done are also some of McNamara's strongest supporters, so they refuse to help me, which is why we're having this conversation. An outsider such as yourself would arouse less suspicion asking questions about such matters. The fact that the Elder has some tasks for you means his faithful won't suspect you, and you have a line open to the man himself. In short, you're in a perfect position to help me. Will you at least think about it?
I don't know.
If I become Elder, the lockdown will be lifted, and we'll once again be able to send patrols out into the wastes. We'll become powerful again. And when that happens, it will be good to have the Brotherhood as an ally. Good enough? That'll have to do. I'd recommend going to see Ramos first. As head of security, he's more familiar with our protocols than anyone else here. You could also try to find something relevant in our data store, though last I heard Scribe Ibsen is having a bit of a problem accessing it. And if McNamara should give you any tasks, I'd ask that you kept me abreast of them. Report anything you find to me, and we'll move from there.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to, like, start a fucking coup. I kind of just want the Brotherhood on my side and some sweet power armor. It's really all I want. I'm scared of having to kill the NCR or any of my buddies. Because the NCR, I mean, they're not... Like, okay, it's definitely a complicated system. It's like IRL, you know. There's good parts, there's bad parts, and it all comes down to how it's executed. And there's a bit of extra nuance within game because, you know, you're in a wasteland. You're not in a society already. There's only like the beginnings of a society here. There's not, I mean, not on the scale that we are today. The NCR is probably the biggest society there is right now, which means that all those problems that we have in real life are coming to fruition with them first. But like all of these ideologies and all of these factions will eventually have problems. Like I'm sure that there's been... Oh wow, dust storm. I've never actually seen this. Okay. Let us go home. Let's go home. Because, you know, there's there's definitely an issue happening, and there's okay, my brain is getting fried. We're at the end of the stream basically, so I want to like maybe do some less mind-boggling stuff. Mind-boggling, yeah, that's what I mean. This thing's broken. I'm considering doing a small YouTube stream. So if you are here and you're listening, I might do a YouTube stream where I go and do a bunch of like smaller quests that don't really do much and aren't that entertaining. But then I'm scared I'll get... no, maybe I won't do that. I am gonna go do the gambling off camera. Cause all that stuff's kind of boring. At least in my opinion, it's not that fun to watch. The caravan bit was kind of cool. I liked doing caravan, that 12-hour stream, but to be completely honest, watching me just say "hit me" over and over again in blackjack isn't the most entertaining. So I might do a bit of that off camera. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's go sell some stuff to Buster or whatever his name is. Also, we're gonna sell a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we're gonna sell a bunch of stuff because... Oh wait, ranger hat. I don't want to have too many doubles. Yeah, sorry if this part isn't that entertaining. I'm like fried after that decision because that was like a bad decision, like straight up not good decision. And I'm just kind of like, I don't even know what you would call this. I'm just because it's a game. Obviously, it's a video game. I'm not like actually shaken up, but I'm regretting hard. Cause like, fuck, man. Where did I put that thing? Yeah, I want to actually sell that. Okay, let's go sell this stuff to chat. I'm not, like, again, not shaken up. I'm just like, why did I do that? Reloading bench. Don't I not use like I don't use a lot of this stuff and I need 5.56. Do I have 5.56 shells? Like the casings? I have a lot of casings. I just need rifle powder. It's 5mm. That's normal 5mm. Where's the small rifle? Okay. Well, let's build some 5.56. Okay, cool. Let's go into Chet's. Let's go wake his ass up.
Howdy.
Wake up!
You looking to buy some supplies?
Yeah.
This sells, this sells, this sells, this sells, this sells. This sells. These sell. Well, you know what, we'll take that because I want to see if I can put that on Maria. I don't think you can, but maybe you can? Because I think maybe you can. I just don't know. Oh, ammo. This is what we need. He has the... Does he have 5.56? He does. I need all that shit. Okay. Cool.
Another satisfied customer. Take it easy now.
Goodbye. Okay. Well, another good day. Good day of streaming. Another good day, guys. We did a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to make it more entertaining. I need to watch more streamers, honestly. And a lot of streamers just do a bunch of, you know, just chatting streams, but I like having a focus. I don't know how to make my stream better anymore. I want to put as much work as I can. Like, the stream itself. I know that I can be doing more, like, highlights and all that stuff. But I'm just like, I'm so out of it all the time. My sleep schedule's kind of broken, honestly. We should save. We should save. That's something we should do. We should save. Save before all the yeah. How close are we to leveling up again? Oh, we're pretty close. We're pretty close. Like 1 or 2 quests away. Yeah. 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 I don't know how to make the stream better for you guys. Cause there's just like, I need to watch other streamers and see what they're doing. I'm doing stuff. I wanna maybe become like a corporate VTuber at some point, so that I can just focus on doing the streams. Because I love streaming. I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things. The only reason I'm stopping right now is because I need to keep it consistent times and stuff. And also I'm like freezing out, about blacking out because of that choice that I made, and like I'm still thinking about it. I try to be funny. I don't want to like make things too heavy-handed. So yeah. Thank you guys for stopping in today. We will, I said new schedule. So we will be back tomorrow, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.